There's a moment in every long-running television career when the ground shifts beneath your feet, sometimes gradually, sometimes all at once. For Mark Labbett, one of the most recognizable faces in British quiz television, that moment appears to have arrived in a way that very few people saw coming. The man known to millions as the Beast is at the center of a story that stretches far beyond a simple contract dispute or scheduling reshuffle. What's unfolding touches on the future of one of ITV's most beloved formats, the pressures facing daytime television in a rapidly changing broadcast landscape, and what happens when a show's identity becomes inseparable from the people who built it. To understand why this matters, you have to appreciate what The Chase actually means to British television. Since it launched in 2009, the show has become something of an institution, a fixture of afternoon and primetime ITV scheduling that delivers consistent, reliable viewing figures in a media environment where consistency is increasingly rare. It doesn't rely on drama or controversy to draw audiences. It relies on precision, personality, and the almost mythological presence of its chasers. And among that group, Mark Labbett has always occupied a particular kind of cultural space. He is enormous in every sense, physically imposing, intellectually formidable, and possessed of a screen presence that translates effortlessly whether he's facing a nervous contestant or sparring with Bradley Walsh. So when reports began emerging that Labbett's relationship with the show was entering uncertain territory, the reaction across the UK television industry was immediate. This wasn't a peripheral figure. This was one of the original chasers, someone whose face has appeared in the show's promotional material for well over a decade. The suggestion that his position might be shifting, whether through reduced appearances, contractual complications, or something else entirely, landed with considerable weight. What makes the situation especially complex is the broader context surrounding The Chase right now. ITV has been navigating a significant period of transition across its daytime and entertainment output. Budgets are being scrutinized. Formats are being reassessed. The streaming era has forced every major broadcaster to reconsider how it commissions and schedules programming, and long-running quiz shows are not immune to that pressure. There have been questions discussed openly in broadcasting circles about whether formats like The Chase need to evolve to maintain their grip on audiences who now have more viewing options than ever before. Against that backdrop, any change involving a key talent like Labbett carries implications well beyond the individual. The story has inevitably drawn attention on Good Morning Britain, the ITV breakfast program that has made a habit of examining the network's own output with a candor that occasionally makes its commissioning bosses uncomfortable. GMB occupies a fascinating editorial position. It is simultaneously a flagship ITV program and a show that treats ITV news with journalistic independence. When a story like this emerges, it doesn't get quietly shelved. It gets discussed, debated, and pulled apart in front of a live morning audience, often with a directness that more cautious programs would avoid. Presenters on the show have addressed the swirling speculation with the kind of measured but pointed commentary that GMB has become known for under its rotating roster of hosts. There's an acknowledgement that Labbett is not simply an employee of a quiz program. He is, in many respects, a brand in his own right. His social media following is substantial. His appearances outside The Chase, including various international versions of the format, have expanded his profile considerably. That independence cuts both ways. It gives him leverage, but it also means that any public uncertainty about his future becomes a story with its own momentum. Labbett himself has not been entirely silent. Comments he has made across interviews and his own social platforms suggest a man navigating a genuinely complicated professional moment with a degree of openness that is either refreshing or strategically calculated, depending on your perspective. He has spoken about change, about the nature of long television careers, and about his own ambitions in ways that have fed rather than dampened the speculation. Whether that reflects frustration, pragmatism, or simply the natural candor of someone who has never been particularly guarded in public, it has kept his name prominent in entertainment news cycles at precisely the moment when the future of his most famous role feels unresolved. The viewer response has been telling. Audiences who have grown up watching The Chase have a possessive relationship with the chasers in the same way that soap opera viewers feel ownership over long-standing characters. The idea of The Chase without Labbett generates something close to genuine unease among dedicated viewers, and that sentiment has been reflected in the commentary surrounding this story. It is worth noting, as responsible reporting demands, that no formal announcement of a permanent departure has been made. The situation remains fluid, and what looks like a crisis from the outside may yet resolve itself in ways that satisfy all parties. Speculation, however informed, is not the same as confirmed fact, and that distinction matters. What does seem clear is that this moment represents something significant regardless of its outcome. The era in which long-running British television formats could operate in a kind of comfortable stasis, with the same faces, the same formats, the same guaranteed audiences, is over. Every show, every presenter, every long-term contract is now being evaluated against a harsher commercial reality. The Chase has been remarkably resilient in that environment, but resilience is not the same as immunity. ITV's decisions in the coming months about both the format and the talent attached to it will say a great deal about the network's appetite for risk versus its instinct for preservation. For Mark Labbett, whatever comes next, the sheer scale of his contribution to British quiz television is beyond dispute. He helped make The Chase what it is. He gave the format a human villain audiences loved to beat and loved even more when they couldn't. That legacy doesn't evaporate in the face of contractual turbulence or scheduling uncertainty. But legacies alone don't determine what happens next in television. Commerce does. And right now, the commercial calculations surrounding one of ITV's most reliable properties are producing more questions than answers. This is a story still very much in motion. If you want to stay ahead of the developments as they happen, across The Chase, Good Morning Britain, and everything else shifting in the world of British television, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think The Chase can maintain its identity through this period of change? And what do you think ITV should do next? We read everything, and your perspective genuinely shapes what we cover. Stay with us, because in British TV right now, nothing is standing still for long.